Woodward Sports, let's go!
Woodward Sports Network, let's go!
Ooh, man, after a Super Bowl Sunday, we get to kick it off on a beautiful Monday morning right here on Woodward in downtown Birmingham. Welcome to the Morning Woodward Show. My name is Stick. To my right.
What's going on? It's Corey.
And to my left.
It's Joey. Hello.
And on producer cam right now, because Art had to take his kids to school this morning, we have the beautiful Adam. Hi, Adam. He's over there waving.
I love how you really believe that Art had something to do this morning.
Yeah. Well, Mondays and Thursdays, he's got to take his little ones to school, so good for Art. You got to take care of the kids.
Got to
take care of the kids. And waking up, everybody, thank you for watching us on Facebook. Thank you for watching us on YouTube and Twitter. We appreciate that, and thank you for sharing this and letting other people know about the Morning Woodward Show right here on the Woodward Sports Network. Last night, obviously, Super Bowl happened. We got a lot to talk about today. Everything from over the weekend, Calvin Johnson getting into the Hall of Fame, Charles Woodson getting into the Hall of Fame, the Super Bowl, the commercials, the food, all that good stuff. But first, as always, we kick off the show with Joey's News.
You stole my first story, man. That was breaking news.
What was breaking news?
The Bucs won the Super Bowl, everybody!
Hey!
They gave a ass whooping. Honestly, I think I just got to pour one out right now for the Chiefs, because that was an embarrassment. The Chiefs, they lost that one on themselves. 22 was the point margin. And Calvin Johnson, Charles Woodson are heading to the Hall of Fame. This is amazing, and I hope the Lions do make this right, because I don't want this bad blood between both of them. The dude just won the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's time. It's time to mend that bridge. It's $1 million. Like, don't let him go into the Hall of Fame with a black eye.
Right.
Well, they did say Calvin talked yesterday to the media, and he said that he's been speaking to Lions owner Sheila Ford Hampton. He said things are moving in the right direction.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about that later in the show.
We will. And Marvin Jones might be heading to L.A. with his boy Matthew Stafford.
That's crazy.
It's going to be crazy. So we'll update you on that story. It's looking like he probably won't be here, so we got to figure out with Galladay. Maybe he could come back to be a Lions. We don't know. But the Detroit Pistons have traded one of their stars, not the one that I wanted to be traded. Derrick Rose to New York for Dennis Smith Jr. and a 2021 second-round pick. And what's crazy about this is Derrick Rose is reuniting with Tom Thibodeau, who coached him in Chicago and Minnesota, which means that he has never coached a team without Derrick Rose now.
That's not a bad thing to have on your resume.
No.
Nah, not at all.
I take Derrick Rose anywhere I coach.
So the Pistons took a Lakers loss in double overtime on Saturday night against the defending champs. We lost by 6. I thought we were going to pull it that one. Disappointed.
I'm disappointed too, man. But hey, shout out to the NBA. Make sure that next time we got to make sure the Lakers and Pistons don't go in the double OT, so LeBron can go get his vino.
Open his wine. Did you see that? I got a bottle of wine waiting for me. How bougie is LeBron right now? Can't play double overtime. He's got to go drink wine.
Hey, let's flip it over to the Red Wings, though, because they got a win 4-2-1 yesterday against the Florida Panthers, and both teams, the Pistons and the Red Wings, are going to be playing tomorrow night at 7 p.m., and there is your Woodward Sports update. And I just wanted to give a quick little shout-out to my people over at Northwestern Tech, because right now is the perfect time for you to learn a new trade, maybe even start a new career for yourself. Why not? It's the heating and cooling industry that is killing it right now. So learn more about their 10.5-month hands-on HVAC program at northwesterntech.edu. Northwestern Tech, the HVAC school that works.
Yeah, and, maybe some of the Chiefs can go to Northwestern Tech, pick up a new skill, because obviously winning the Super Bowl is not on their skill set list.
Not at all.
And you hate to dog a team like this, because obviously they were the champions last year. They made it to the championship. But last night, I mean, they didn't lay a goose egg, but they laid a goose egg.
Oh, let's call it what it is. They laid a goose egg. The fact that you have Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, and you only walk away with 9 points, all field goals, that's bad. That's a goose egg.
I'm more mad at myself because one of the prop bets on my bookie was for Kansas City to score 0 touchdowns. And I looked at it. And
We talked about that.
I was like, yeah, we did
We talked about that.
And I looked at it. I was like, no, there's no way they're going to score 0 touchdowns. And I didn't take the bet. But damn, now I'm wishing I would have
been the biggest dumbass if you took that bet. And now you look at it and it's like, wait.
Now I'm the biggest dumbass because I didn't take that bet. So, yeah, 31-9. And this game was pretty much over in the first half. Like, once Tom Brady got those 3 consecutive touchdowns in the first half, Anson was over at my house. We were watching the game, and he called it. He's like, they're going to score 3 times in a row right here. There's no way they can stop them. And then 2 came, then 3 came, and then all of a sudden you're like, holy hell, man. Tom Brady's not going to give up this lead. Like, even though Kansas City has this explosive offense, their defense could not stop the Bucs.
The Chiefs just look shook. Like, I remember we talked about the other day. I said that when you facing Tom Brady in those big moments, it's almost like that Tiger Woods on Sunday. It's like you see him across the field. It's like that intimidation factor. Like, holy crap, we're going. It's one thing to go against him in the regular season. It's another thing to go against a Tom Brady-led team when the chips are all on the line. And he looked as surgical as ever. That was his first blowout Super Bowl.
And when you look at it, though, it's like, yeah, you want to give all the credit to Tom Brady because he deserves it. You know, he obviously got the Super Bowl MVP for a reason.
I'm laughing at the graphic under the screen right now. The goat head on Tom Brady. Sorry to interrupt you, Joey. Go ahead.
That was a great graphic, by the way. Shout out to Justin for that one. But when you look at the Chiefs' defense, the second quarter is what really did it for me. Throughout the entire game, they did not look good. But then you see the Chiefs get that interception with Matthew. Overturned, holding.
Yep.
Not even on the player that the ball was going towards. Evans did that nice curl route, and he held him, and it's like they were just getting beat on every end of the field. But then they hold him to a field goal. I was like, oh, this is great. Offsides call.
Yep.
Then it gets them on the second touchdown for Gronkowski, and it's like thing after thing. It was just a horrible game for the Chiefs defense on the penalty side of it.
You know what? You know who else had a horrible game? Bill Belichick.
Oh.
And everybody in New England just watching Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski run train on the Kansas City Chiefs, and there's nothing they could do about it. They're like, oh, we used to have those guys, and I actually tweeted it out, and I'm surprised my tweet blew up this way. It's like, this is what the Patriot way was supposed to look like. We just grabbed the wrong 2 assholes. Like, we took Patricia and Quinn. We should have gotten Brady and Gronk if we wanted to do the real Patriot way here in Detroit. Because last night, it was a throwback. And, Corey, I love you for acknowledging when I'm right. I appreciate that. Corey texted me after Gronk's first touchdown.
I think it was after the second one.
After the second one?
The first one, I was like, okay, he got his boy one. Then he threw it again. I'm like, damn it, stick was fucking.
Oh, dang, Corey dropping the heat.
I was mad. I wasn't mad, but I was mad because I'm like, damn. Because I was placing my bets, and in the back of my mind was like, should I listen to Stick and place this on Gronk?
Yep. You should have. You should have, man. I mean, because just Gronk is Gronk, right?
Yep.
It's a big game situation, and he had ramped up through the entire year with Tom Brady. Like Joey talked about last week, the dude didn't even actually condition to play for them. He sent in a fake conditioning film of him changing clothes to make it seem like he was doing it every day when he just did all workouts on one day, 14 pairs of clothes, 2 weeks of workouts he sent off to him. And he didn't get into playing shape till the Super Bowl.
Well, when you score 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl, you know, who's going to give a damn about that video now?
That just shows, like, now there's going to be players that are like, nah, I don't got to do that. Look at Gronk.
Gronk is an anomaly, though.
Just imagine being a New England Patriots fan. Like, geez, there's got to be half that love it because they're true fans and rooting for those guys. Like, but they got a taste of what we may taste if Stafford goes to L.A. and wins a championship. Like, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle that, to be honest with you. I say I want to root for Stafford in L.A., but I don't want to see that. If I was in New England, I did not want to watch that last night. I wanted to watch Tom Brady die, Gronk break his leg, and then Patrick Mahomes take the crown, and we're like, oh, okay, everybody's back in the same, space now.
I think it's different for New England fans for the simple fact that they've seen it 6 times. So they're like, okay, we've seen it enough here. You know, they kicked you out the back door. You're still our guy. Go ahead and go win one. Stafford ain't win jack here. So if he goes and wins one and with the Rams, I would be like, you got some damn nerve.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at, like Corey said, I mean, just with Brady alone, 1-6 for New England. But then I was waiting to see what the Patriots were going to tweet out and if they would. And they ended up dropping the tweet saying, congratulations to the greatest of all time. And they had to do that.
And you see Bob Kraft was there too.
Yeah.
Mr. Kraft was there.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Bob Kraft loves himself some Florida.
Oh,
He loves massages in Florida, and he'll settle out of court every time for those rub and tugs. Like, Bob Kraft loves him some Florida.
Do you blame him?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. You're a rich-ass man. You don't need to be flying to Florida to get those rub and tugs and then getting caught on tape, you dumbass. But good for Rob Kraft being there partying. I'm sure him and Tom Brady and Gronkowski went and did it in Tampa last night. We have some friends that work in Tampa, and one of them just tweeted out that she has not gone to sleep yet.
Oh, I would not.
Dude, winning the Super Bowl at your home stadium. I loved how they fired off the cannons after the game. Because they weren't allowed to during the game because that was a home field advantage. But after the game, they just were lighting off those cannons. It was great. But if you watch the game, I mean, this was your prototypical Tom Brady dominant game. At halftime, he had 140 yards and 3 touchdowns, while Mahomes had 67 yards through the air.
that was just really that I would have never guessed that. Even though we talked about the bet, I would have never guessed that Mahomes would go goose egg like that. And let's be real, some of his receivers dropped some easy balls. It like I seen Kelsey and Hill. They dropped some passes that they should have caught, but outside of that, they just did not look like they were ready for the moment, which is shocking. They're the defending champs, and the moment looked too big for them.
Yeah, and the announcers mentioned it yesterday, too. It looked like they were just getting punched in the mouth and not punching back. You saw Tyrann Mathieu try to a little bit to Tom Brady, but they were just getting punched in the mouth constantly. And, I mean, that's just a credit to the Bucs defense and just how mean and nasty those guys were. Like, we talked about it last week. You know, you don't want nice guys on your team. Like, did you see Devin White?
Devin freaking White. I was waiting for this.
12 tackles in the pick.
He was trying to pick a fight after every single play. He was standing over players. He wasn't budging. He was just bullying people yesterday. You could tell that they wanted it more. They just wanted it more.
Stephen A. Smith tweeted something very interesting last night. He said that I guess, you know, the whole Tyrann Mathieu and Tom Brady situation started with Mathieu got in his face. And Stephen A. Smith said former Patriot said, this is about to get bad.
Yeah.
Like, and Brady targeted Mathieu the whole game. That was just surgical.
Yeah, it was Reggie Miller-esque, you know, like if you think back to Spike Lee talking shit to Reggie Miller, and Reggie Miller just like going right to him and choking him on the sideline. Like that's what I felt last night. And then another picture that stuck with me, I think you tweeted out, Joey, is Tom Brady going into the fourth quarter. They're up 19 points, but he's sitting there with this death stare on his face, like they are down 20 going into the fourth. Like they were not going to give up that lead.
And that's the thing, though. You look at a Tom Brady, like, they fought till the end. And a big thing with my, like, whole scouting report going into this game was I went back to when these teams played each other in November. And you look at how the Chiefs put up 17 first-quarter points against them. Whooped their ass on that end. You look at Tyreek Hill, 203 yards, 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. Yesterday, 1 catch for 5 yards in the first half. So when you look at just the way that the team scouted and they switched up their defense, had Devin White on lock on Patrick Mahomes. It was just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful play from both sides of the game.
Todd Bowles had an incredible defensive scheme going on. I mean, they were playing like almost a 3-deep coverage, so they were not going to let up the big plays. And they just kept – Mahomes kept going for it instead of just checking down and taking what was in front of him. And that ended up working to his detriment. But to your point, Joey, they scored a ton of points in that Week 12 first quarter. But the 7 quarters after that, they had 19 points, less than 3 points a quarter after that, facing the Bucs. So the Bucs figured out something after that first quarter in Week 12.
And you know what? Another thing from that game last night, I think a lot of teams who went ahead and made their head coaching hires, they're going to regret not bringing in or giving Todd another interview because that that was a masterful game plan by him last night. He deserves his flowers for today for that.
Yeah, and honestly, the Lions were in line to talk to him, but they hired Campbell before they could get a chance to talk to him. So we didn't even talk to Bowles.
We had Todd Bowles. He canceled the interview because he was on his way to fly here, but he canceled it because he said that he already knew that they were going to offer it to Campbell. So he said it was just flying out here was a waste of his time.
Wow.
Well, we'll never know.
We'll never know.
We'll never know. But he did come up with an incredible game plan to stop the Kansas City Chiefs and their high-powered offense. And, a lot of people I've seen bitch about the referees saying, oh, this was handed to Tom Brady.
No.
Those were BS pass interference calls. And, okay, let's give you that, okay? Let's say – just let me finish my argument.
Okay.
Let me finish my argument. Let's give you that. Okay, those were BS pass interference calls. They shouldn't have scored 31 points. But all they had to do was score 10 to win.
And that's what I'm saying is, like, to your point, like, you can say the penalties were bad. Whatever. You can say the referees over-officiated the game. That still doesn't stop the fact that they kicked 3 field goals only.
Right.
Come on. Like, at some point, you just got to call a spade a spade. They didn't play well. As an entire team, they did not play well, and it starts from the coaching, and it goes down to the captain, Patrick Mahomes. It was just one their night. That's really what it is. But here's one thing I really want to touch on is, can we now officially say that the dumbass argument of Tom Brady is a system QB, I think that's officially dead. Tom Brady is the system.
Oh, man, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to hit you with that one-liner, too. Tom Brady is the system.
And he really is. I mean, and to Corey's point, you could only blame bad officiating if it's down to the wire.
Right.
When you look at this one, this is the first time the Chiefs didn't reach the end zone since Mahomes took over as the starting QB in 2018. So you look at what the I almost said the Patriots, what the Bucs did in this entire game, like it is just a peaceful, like just a, I don't know what the word is that I'm thinking. Masterpiece.
Yeah, it was. And if you think about it, they got stopped on the goal line too, which could have even been more points. There's just there's just so much. The Bucs just absolutely destroyed this game, and it was fun to watch. Honestly, it's the outcome. It was the one outcome I couldn't see happening, and I even said that in mine and Anson's pregame, which we did from my couch to throw it back old school, which was fun. But that was my one comment is, I could see Kansas City blowing out the Bucs. I can see this being a close game and the Bucs winning. I can see this being a close game and Kansas City winning. The one thing I couldn't see is a blowout from the Bucs, and I saw it. Like, that's the one thing I literally said. The one thing I couldn't see is a blowout, and it happened, and that's a tribute more to their defense than their offense.
Yeah, their defense came to play. They played with their heads on fire, and it was just something really remarkable to witness. I think that somebody tried to say that Tom Brady won the MVP by default because you couldn't give the defense the MVP. And
that's true.
I mean, you got to give the whole defensive line that,
it's kind of like
Devin
Chauncey
Wade.
Billups in the 2004 finals. Like, that was a team MVP, but you got to give it to somebody.
And you got to give it to the guy who threw 3 touchdowns
In the first half.
in the first half. Because once they got through 3 touchdowns, it was like, okay, they pretty much might have this in the bag. And then Leonard Fournette broke for that one. I'm like, okay, yeah, it's about done. But that defense, man, here's my favorite play of the game. When Barrett just went ahead and roughed up Mahomes a little bit, and then in the end, when my boy Sue finally got him a taste.
That 3 hit, when they hit all 3 of them at once, that was crazy.
Let me ask you a question now. A question that you brought up last week, Stick.
Okay.
Will Mahomes ever be compared to Tom Brady on the level of GOAT after what we just saw?
Nope. It's
Never.
over. It's over. Nope.
He's 0-2 against Brady in the postseason.
Yep. And he got blown out. Didn't score a touchdown.
February 7th, 2021.
Yep.
You could always bring that date back in this argument.
Yeah, it's over now. Like, unless he's got to win 8 Super Bowls now. So he's got 7 more to win.
Still.
To win. And, we could go back to other predominant careers that have started out like Patrick Mahomes and they never get back. Like, look at Aaron Rodgers, won a title in his 3rd year and he's not going back, and then you got Dan Marino, made it to a Super Bowl, never went back. Obviously Mahomes got one in his pocket. You can never take that away from him, but if that's the only one he gets and he never goes back, he went from being baby GOAT to, all right, Mahomes was good.
I mean, if you want to compare him to anybody, it's got to be Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson lost his rookie year in the postseason. won the Super Bowl the second year, and then third year lost in the Super Bowl.
To Tom Brady.
Yep.
To Tom Brady.
Weird.
Isn't that weird? Yeah.
Like, what kind of comparison is that, though? Like, for a quarterback, especially of his level, it's going for the GOAT status or nothing.
Right.
I mean, we talked about
It's
the Street
unattainable.
Fighter. We talked about the Street Fighter comparison last week, man. It's hard to beat M. Bison. Tom Brady is freaking M. Bison.
Yeah.
And that level of dominance is, I just don't know if you're going to be able to match that.
That's one thing I love and I hate about sports is, like, you teeter on this level of greatness. Because if Brady loses that game yesterday, he's 6-4 in the Super Bowl. Everybody's talking Mahomes is next up. He's already got 2. He's on Brady's ass. And, like, Mahomes, we're talking about him in a completely different light today.
Yeah.
Like, he's the future. Oh, my God. And he loses one game. Obviously, it's a big game. It's the Super Bowl. But now we're like, man, this kid may never get back again. This could be the last we ever see of Patrick Mahomes. Right. And honestly, that's the scary part of the NFL because you see teams like the Bills coming on strong this year, and they're only going to get better next year. Yeah. So the trip back to the Super Bowl is going to continuously get tougher and tougher and tougher for the Chiefs. Like, do you expect them to go back next year, 3 years in a row to the Super Bowl?
I really can't say it because with the Patriots, it was just one thing. Like, Tom Brady was just in such a groove, and the Patriots were just such on fire that you expected them to be back. Now that you're starting to we've seen chinks in the armor all season with the Chiefs because they were playing with fire the whole year, even though they were dominant. They were playing with fire, and now it's kind of like, all right, team's starting to kind of figure them out a little bit. I can't really say I think they'll make it back to some, but I can't say that they're going to make it back on the consistency that will match that Patriots level of success.
3 years in a row is going to be tough, and I love this comment by Spiro in the chat. And shout out to everybody on Facebook chatting with us, everybody on YouTube, and everybody on Twitter. We appreciate you listening and watching and sharing this morning. Spiro says he totally absolves Mahomes for last night. Guy had no chance. Worst offensive line performance ever in the Super Bowl.
No, I mean, if you're did his line play good? No, they did not. But at the same time, it's the Super Bowl. It's no excuse. There's no excuses.
Right.
Listen, you can't make
47 times.
Hold on.
He was pressured 80% of the time.
Oh, I got a great stat here. Patrick Mahomes ran for 497 yards before throwing the ball or while under pressure. 500 yards scrambling yesterday. That's what he was tracked at running.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, before he threw the ball. Like, once the ball was hiked, he's running around trying to get away. 500 yards behind the line of scrimmage that dude had to run.
I want to see Matthew Stafford's comparison on that. My man's scrambling all over the field.
Stafford got like 4 yards. But no, 500 yards of scrambling. Like, that's how much pressure he was under yesterday. That is an insane stat. 500 yards, bro.
And truthfully, though, when you look at it, because I know people are going to say, oh, well, he was just so pressured. It's the Super Bowl. Don't give me that garbage. You got to the biggest game in the entire season.
Right.
You can't. There's no excuses for any of that.
And even while he was under pressure, he was making throws from his back.
Right.
He was making throws like those.
That sidearm was wild.
Yeah, he was making throws that would piss you off if you were playing Madden and the quarterback's are going down. He just chucks it and it's almost a touchdown.
Those two plays at the end, those incompletions, those were two of the best incompletions I've ever seen in my life.
I thought the one was a touchdown.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
A millisecond earlier, that would have been a TD.
Yeah, so 500 yards scrambling. Like, that is insane to me.
You know what I don't like about this game is when you look at the stats. You know, I'm looking at Travis Kelce, 10 receptions, 133 yards.
Yep.
It looks good. But they padded these stats at the end of the third quarter, going in the fourth, so much that on paper it made them look like they had a better game. But you look at Kelce having dropped balls like the entire game, every single position. You can't say, oh, it was the pressure. Oh, it was this. Oh, it was Mahomes. The entire game, they all sucked.
Yeah, they just weren't ready for it.
Like I said, you can't really just place the whole blame on one person. It was a total team collapse. Like, Mahomes played as good as he could have, but he still did not do enough to get his team in order. at the end of the day, all those guys are professionals. Right. And it's always next man up. So just to mean like, oh, he's playing not with his top guys. No, those guys train. Those guys practice. Don't make any excuses. If you're in the NFL, you need to be able to perform when your number is called. It's not like they picked up some replacements off of a supermarket or some crap.
And the Chiefs just look comfortable. That's what they look like. They look like they'd been there before, and they're like, oh, this isn't. And the other guys look like they hadn't eaten in months. And that, to me, that was the difference. Just the intensity that the Bucs were playing with. One prop bet, though, that I was able to hit on, thank you very much, is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. It was over 36 yards rushing. My man came in with 64, so thank you, my bookie, for paying that off. I appreciate that.
That was late in the game, too. You got lucky.
Yeah, and if you guys haven't checked it out, go to mybookie.com. You can place all your bets, prop bets. I have a lot of fun, and yesterday I put in like 3 different bets. I only won on one of them, but the other ones were just great risk reward. $5 could have won me $100 if the first score was a defensive touchdown. I thought that was worth the risk, right? Hey. So $5 for $100, I'll do it all day long. Make sure you go to mybookie.com, enter promo code Woodward, and they will match up to 50% of your first deposit up to $1,000. So
I won my bet last night.
What was your bet?
I put $15 that the Bucs were going to win by 21 points.
Nice.
They won by 22.
How much did you make?
Ballsy. I won 315.
Damn, Corey buying lunch today.
Okay.
That's awesome.
I would. Now you know what? That was just dumb luck. It was just like, I just got a funny feeling. So I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna put too much. Let me just throw 15 on the Bucs to win. So they had to win between 21 to 25 points. If they were under that or over that, then I would have been screwed. But they won by 22, so I ended up cleaning up. I thought that Mahomes was gonna get that last touchdown. I was like, no, and they got that pick. All my friends would tell you. Well, I won't say that, but all my friends will tell you, I pretty much danced around the house.
Like you won the Super Bowl, man.
Yeah.
You guys are going to think I'm crazy, but I'm happier that I won $50 than winning $380. It's crazy
What did you win 50 on?
So, no, let me talk about the $380 that I won. Was on Gronk getting the first touchdown of the game. I put $20 on there, and I ended up winning $380 off of that one. But there was this $50 bet that I made that the Bucs were just going to win. And it wasn't on any of these apps. It was with Herman Moore.
Oh, yeah.
And he took the Chiefs winning, and I put 50 on it, and he started talking about, I want my payment in nickels and all that. So, Herman Moore, if you're watching, I want 700 pennies, 360 nickels, 150 dimes, and 40 quarters. Thank you, sir.
You got to collect from Herman Moore. That's awesome,
collecting.
Man.
Collecting.
And, I mean, if you're looking at it too, like part of the reason that swayed me to picking the Bucs on this game, like I predicted the Bucs final score with 31. I did not predict Kansas City. Yeah, I hit the nail on the head with the Bucs, but Kansas City I had it at 30. Obviously, they had 9. But the dudes who placed $3 million bets on the Bucs to win. Can you imagine waking up with an extra $2.5 million in your bank account this morning because you placed that bet? Oh,
on
God.
the flip side, imagine putting $3 million on the Chiefs and waking up.
No one did.
Oh,
The 2 highest bets that were on record placed were $3.4 million for the Bucs, and then $3 million for the Bucs, and then there was another $1 million for the Bucs. So the highest bets were all for the Bucs.
Damn.
Which
that makes sense
follow
because
the money, right?
I'll say this much: I could live with the fact if I bet on Tom Brady and I end up losing my money. I'm like, okay, I can't live with the fact that I bet against Tom Brady and lost money. Right. That is just, it's the GOAT. Like, what are we talking about here? The first man to ever win Super Bowl MVP with 2 different franchises.
Yep, and the first to ever win a Super Bowl in 3 different decades. 3 different decades, dude.
What are we? I just don't understand. Like at this point, like what do you want him to do? Win the Super Bowl with an eye patch on, arm tied behind his head? Like what more does he have to do? 10 Super Bowls, he's won 70% of them.
Tom Brady ain't shit till he comes to Detroit and gets us a Super Bowl.
I don't know. If you ask Rob Parker, he'll just tell you that he's lucky.
Oh, he's in Cali right now, so he's probably still asleep. But once we're done with the show, I'm gonna wake him up.
Yeah, we got to get Rob Parker back on this week. I mean, he called him the luckiest of all time, and maybe he'll use luck again to describe his 7th. But If that's luck, man, bring me all the luck.
He's going to talk.
I don't think this one can be considered luck because they went out there and whooped the Chiefs' ass.
No. I already know what he's going to come out to say. He's going to start to blame the referees.
The penalties, right.
Start to blame. He's going to say, no, Tom Brady didn't win that. It was his defense. Get out of here with that garbage. Everyone that says that.
Oh yeah, all my friends are online right now. I want to call a couple of them out, but I'm gonna stall them out, Debo.
I saw you threatening to call people out on your Facebook page today.
Oh man, because they give me so much crap all year. Wait till you see in the Super Bowl, he's gonna get exposed. Tom Brady's gonna get exposed. I'm like, you know what? He's 7 years from 50. At one point, he probably should get exposed, but as we see, he did not get exposed.
Well, the ridiculous thing about that argument is wait till he gets to the Super Bowl and you'll see he's exposed.
Huh?
To get to the Super Bowl, you gotta be pretty damn good.
Sometimes I get kind of confused talking to them. Like, which side of the other mouth are they speaking out of today? Like, you don't make sense. You say you know sports. You say you guys are these big sports aficionados, but you can't see how, with your own two eyes, that this guy literally sons every great in front of him.
Yeah.
Breeze, Rodgers, Mahomes. One postseason,
and that is crazy to think. The gauntlet he went through. And don't forget Heineke that he knocked out in the first round. That's so funny. You can't even include the Washington quarterback for that. Like, too bad that wasn't a good quarterback, because this would have been the greatest run through the playoffs ever if Heineke wasn't Heineke.
I mean, it still is. It still is.
It still is, but you just wish that first wild card game wasn't against Heineke. Like, you wish... If I'm Brady, I wish it was against like the Lions and Stafford, because then you could say, oh, I took down Stafford, Breeze, Rodgers, and Mahomes all in one, not Heineke. You don't want him in that conversation. So one of the funniest parts of the game, and this is why I'm so glad fans were allowed back in the stands, because normally TV wouldn't show these things, but the fans and their phones, we get a good view of it. If you didn't see the dude running around the field, Adam, you got that video ready to rock?
So the best part, too, is there was the footage that we all saw on TV. They cut it short.
Yeah.
There was somebody up in the skybox that got the video that we're about to show right now, which is the greatest thing because you see him deacon security and everything.
This guy's got moves. Got to sign him up, man. I mean, if you're gonna streak, you might as well do it during the Super Bowl.
Imagine being that security, though, man. He did him dirty. He tried diving to tackle him, and he completely missed.
And butt-ass naked, sliding into the end zone.
Do you think he was in?
No, I think he was down a little bit.
He was just short.
Yep.
He was.
But that was the fun part of the game. We posted that up on our social media if you want to keep watching that dude. But he had some moves, man. And why are security guards always just big, fat, and slow? Like, Joik Bell was the security guard here at Ford Field. You imagine Joik trying to tackle that guy in the middle of a game?
Oh, he laid him out.
Damn, Joik, we've all been in the Detroit party scene. Those bodyguards are all huge, massive, fast, and in the NFL, he just look like some pizza delivery guys. Like, I mean, if that had been some bouncers from any clubs we might have worked at, that guy would have got his ass beat and then some.
Yeah. Would you guys ever go streaking? Have you ever gone streaking?
Oh, I would. On the football field of the Super Bowl?
Just anywhere, period.
Oh, no.
No?
You sound like you got a proud story to share with us.
I mean, Corey, you ever been streaking? Is it part of your, what do you call it? Your hazing for your fraternity? Did you have to do any naked things?
I cannot. First off, Kappa Psi Fraternity Incorporated is a non-hazing organization. But
that was the most professional thing I've ever heard.
Kappa Psi Fraternity Incorporated is a non-hazing organization. But as far as streaking,
say that faster.
but as far as streaking, I have heard that one time when me and my friends got really drunk, that everybody went streaking. I might have participated in some streaking activities. I don't remember.
So you were too blackout to remember?
Yes. So I'm just saying.
So if anybody has pictures of Corey blackout streaking, Please don't send them to me. DM them to Adam, please. I do not
So we
want
can
to
put
see
them
that
on the
shit.
screen.
No, one time in Canada when we were hosting Voodoo nightclub, there was a club across the street called Taboo by the same owners, and me and my boy Limpy, we were told if we walked through the nightclub naked, but we had socks over our junk.
Is that where he got the nickname Limpy?
No, Limpy got that completely different story. But yeah, we walked through both nightclubs with just socks over our junk.
Butt ass naked, just a sock.
Just a sock hanging off.
You're kidding me. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
You ever see that like Red Hot Chili Peppers video where Anthony Kiedis, that's all he's got is just the sock on his junk? That's what we did, just a long tube sock, walking up and down Olette Avenue.
And how did that work for you guys?
Good, we got free Red Wings tickets for it.
Oh.
That was the bet. Like, we'll give you Red Wings tickets if you do this, so... Got my Red Wings tickets. On the glass, baby. Just for showing a little booty in downtown Windsor.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I miss those wild-ass days in Windsor, man. Oof. Ooh,
Yeah.
Olette Avenue. Me and you got some stories that I can't tell.
Especially right now, we can't even cross the border to go see our friends over there, our stepbrothers.
Right. So we just wanted to talk about the streaker. And during COVID, it's weird that the guy chose to do it. They finally allow fans back in the stadium, like a lot of fans. It looked very busy there last night, and all of a sudden this dude's out there getting tackled because he's naked and streaking.
The NFL did a good job of the 25,000 fans and the rest being cutouts. Like it really looked nice.
Yeah, they did a good job. They did a really good job.
All I think in my head is a replay of this guy running butt ass naked out on the field, and then you could cut to LeBron the other day saying, "Yeah, I'm glad we got fans back in the stands."
No, I want to ask you about one thing, and then I'm seeing it talked about in the chat. Do you think that the situation with Andy Reid's son Britt might have had any kind of effect on him? Like he was able to compartmentalize that, because that is a crazy situation. The dude was drunk, popping Adderall, got into an accident, might have, the 5-year-old that was a part of the crash, he's in critical condition, so it's not looking good for him.
Yeah, Andy Reid kind of addressed this when they talked to him, and he said it didn't affect the game planning because the game plan had already been implemented the week before. So, like, on that side of the coaching end, it really didn't affect him. I think where it may have affected him is some in-game decisions, like right before the half, trying to get those extra points to get back in the game instead of going into the half. What were they? They would have been down 14-6 instead of 21-6. So maybe I don't know. I have a rough time psychoanalyzing people when they go like that, because some people can completely just shut it off and go to work, And I think us, as part of the entertainment industry, like, I've had to go to funerals for best friends and then host nightclubs the night. And obviously not on the same level, but you just got to get your brain right, because you can't focus and be sad when you're supposed to be happy. And, what a tragic situation, though, for that poor young girl that's in critical condition, man.
Yeah, I was just wondering, like, would they have been able to compartmentalize their feelings of that? Because that is, I mean, he was a linebackers coach, but still, he's a part of the coaching staff. He's the coach's son.
Yeah,
just having that cloud surrounding you right before the Super Bowl.
You just got to think these guys are professionals, though. They can compartmentalize for 4 hours.
And think about what they deal with. There's always things popping up that they deal with. A lot of these players are idiots, and a lot of them have issues that they all face. I mean, that's just the truth of it.
I mean, to your point, they are idiots, because a lot of the NFL players, they drink and drive when they actually, the NFL gives them guys drivers for situations like that, which
literally.
So
yeah, and you see that no matter what successful people, like, it doesn't matter how much money they have. If you make poor decisions, you make poor decisions, whether you're rich, whether you're poor, whether you have a driver at your disposal or not. Like, I know kids my age who can afford an Uber to Royal Oak, but they'd rather drive to Royal Oak and, risk it for the ticket and
save $20.
Yeah, next thing you know, driver's responsibility fees, $10,000. Like,
I've gotten a lot of tickets, but one thing I've never gotten was a DUI. I always have like a rule of thumb in my head, like if I know that I'm gonna have like more than like one drink, then I just Uber, because, Uber and Lyft is cheaper than the DUI, and it saves a life. Listen,
I'm not going to sit up here and pretend that I'm an angel and I've never done stupid things while I was hosting clubs and stuff like that. But now that I'm a little bit older, I always Uber everywhere. Like, even for downtown Detroit when, St. Patrick's Day or opening day now, I always just Uber down, because you're going to pay $40, $50 to park anyways. Yep. Might as well just swallow the $100, $50 there, $50 that, and you don't have to worry at all.
If if you are looking for a hack, though, in downtown Detroit on opening day, Stick taught me this. Just park anywhere close. Get a parking ticket because it's cheaper than parking at any of the lots.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
That's my hack. Yeah, either that or find like a 3-hour time limit zone and have like multiple of your friends log in. And then you can park there all day. I've done that before too. So yeah, there's hacks to downtown Detroit. Definitely. And, I mean, back in the day, it just there was no hack. You could just pull up on the curb, spark your blunt, drink your 40, and then walk right into the game. Now a little bit different, a little nicer in downtown
Now
Detroit.
the city's cleaning up.
Yeah, it's the new Detroit.
Detroit 2.0.
Yeah, I don't mind it, but I kind of miss the old days too when it was the wild, wild west. So let's take a quick 15-second break. We'll be right back to talk about the other big news, and we'll get back into some Super Bowl talk because we want to talk about our favorite commercials too. If you guys got favorite commercials, drop them in the comments right now so maybe we can pull them up and talk about them with you. But let's take a quick break. We'll be right back, and we'll talk about Calvin Johnson and Charles Woodson, baby.
Morning, Art. Morning, D-Mac.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show. My name is Stick. I got Corey, Joey, Adam, and Fish is here too. Thank you guys for waking up with us every morning right here on the Woodward Sports Network, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and soon to be Instagram. We're going to go on Instagram Live coming up soon.
Heck yeah.
I know, man. We did some testing with the audio. Now we just got to figure out the camera, but that is coming soon. And make sure that you're subscribing to us on YouTube as well. Hop on over to YouTube and subscribe to Woodward Sports. But some other big news over the weekend, and I know what I want to do for the rest of my life, Joey.
What is that?
I found a job that I want to have, like, and this is my ultimate goal now.
To have to go to the house and knock and award them?
Yeah.
How amazing.
Dude, wouldn't that be the best job in the world to let people know that they just got inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Those videos for Charles Woodson and for Calvin Johnson, honestly, like they gave me like chills throughout my entire body. Just the reaction and seeing the excitement and just how proud they were.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen the videos, we got both of them right now. This is Calvin Johnson's reaction to finding out that he's going to the Hall of Fame on a first ballot. And how awesome, like, this dude's like publisher clearinghouse guy on crack. Like, it's beyond, you know, hey, here's some money. It's like, here's all your lifelong dreams, aspirations, everything you've ever wanted. Here you go, I'm presenting it to you, and these grown-ass men are crying. Like, it's the most beautiful job ever. Let's watch this video.
Calvin. Yes. David Baker from the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Am I disturbing you?
Should have noticed something was up. Just, man.
On behalf of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, I want to welcome you to Canton, Ohio, where for the rest of the time, we want to thank you for all you've done for this great game.
Appreciate it.
You're going to get bronze bust, and I'm told that bronze bust will last for 40,000 years. Okay? So you better make sure it's got that smile that you're smiling with right now.
No, I got tears in my face. The culmination of all the work, all the grind, all the ups and downs that you've been through, just to be able to excel at the level and be able to have the opportunity to be amongst such greats. I'm sleeping with a smile tonight.
I mean, first of all, the guy giving out the Hall of Fame stuff, doesn't he look like John Taffer from Bar Rescue? Like, that's what I kept thinking. Like, this is the dude from Bar Rescue up there. But just to see, like I said, these are grown men who dedicated their whole lives to a sport. They crushed their bodies for this. They put themselves in harm's way. Obviously, the Calvin situation with the Lions is not exactly where we want it to be, but what a special, special moment. And like I said, that's the job I want moving forward.
Especially to show up to his house like that. Just open up the door, his beautiful family just hanging out. It was just such a cool video and moment to see, and I'm happy that they showed that.
Oh, and I'm happy he got in the first ballot. Like, come on, man. Only the 7th wide receiver to get in on the first ballot for the Hall of Fame. Like, you cannot speak highly enough about Calvin Johnson.
I'm just glad it didn't go south because, according to reports, Calvin said that he didn't know who was knocking. He went for his gun, so that might have turned.
He for real said he went for his gun.
He was going for he was about to go reach for his gun.
I mean,
so.
it was dark, first off. So it's like nobody knocks on doors anymore. So I feel you, Calvin.
Okay, maybe I don't want to be the guy knocking on doors doing the Hall of Fame giveaway.
I'm just saying, Calvin owns the dispensary. Going for the piece might have turned ugly.
Listen, if Stick says that he is down to take a hit from Ndamukong Suh, it'd be just as cool to get shot by Calvin Johnson.
Like that movie, The Other Guys. You shot Derek Jeter. You just shoot back and you shoot Calvin Johnson. Oh, man.
No,
that's crazy that he said he went for his gun. But either way, you get to see those magical moments with athletes and people you look up to. And, like we see this now that we work closely with like a Darren McCarty and a Joik. Like, when these guys are playing, you put them on such this pedestal of like superhumans. And at the end of the day, they are just human. And so when they get acknowledged for their accomplishments, which is pretty much what anybody wants in life, just to be acknowledged if they did something well, and to do this, like, it's so awesome that Calvin got in on the first ballot. Because there's people in this building that think he shouldn't even be in the Hall of Fame, and I'm not even going to say their name.
Oh, that's just ludicrous. I mean, Calvin you have to go off of that period, that 9-year period. First off, Calvin's one of the most humble people you'll meet.
Yeah.
Like, he's a really, like, I've just been fortunate enough to do what I do. I've met a lot of athletes, and I don't think I've met one more humble and personable than him. But just outside of that, his game on the field, he's number 2 all-time in receiving yards per game.
I mean, he did lead. He has the most receiving yards for a whole season. Yeah.
And the most the most consecutive games with 100 yards, 100 receiving yards at 8. I mean, you can go down the stats, but it's just off of what you've seen as a Detroit fan with your own eyes whether we were winning or losing, the one consistent thing you can count on was Megatron to be Megatron.
Yep.
And you felt like, as bad as our teams were, we were never out of a game. The Lions were never out of a game because they had that guy.
What's crazy to me, though, is to your point, like when you mentioned that he's never won. Just to see a guy with so much talent get the Hall of Fame, first ballot, and not even go anywhere really with it, get a playoff win with it. It's just crazy to me, and that's the thing that sucks deep down, because we are here celebrating achievements of the Lions, but what achievement really did we get there besides a great player?
And that's what bothers me about this whole thing is the Lions, we don't get to experience greatness often, right? I mean, we can all admit that. We've had Barry Sanders, we've had Calvin Johnson. Some put Stafford in that conversation, some do not, so we can say he's a 50%er, right?
Yeah.
So over the course of our lifespan, we've had 2.5 players, arguably, with greatness. Barry had a bad experience with the Lions. Calvin's going into the Hall of Fame without mending that bridge, which I think if he goes to that Hall of Fame inductee speech and he doesn't have a good relationship with the Lions, it is a failure on the entire organization, because now is the time to fix it. Like, there aren't many highlights for the Lions. This guy's going to go in there. He only ever wore the Honolulu blue uniform. It's not like he's going to put any other thing on his bust. He's going in there as a Lion, and we should have him feeling 1,000,000% that he wants to be a Lion.
And I think I think that's happening right now, because the reports he spoke to the media yesterday, and here's what he said, regarding him and Sheila Ford. He said, I think that myself and Sheila Hamp, we've had some great conversations recently, and it's good to get to know her and just really have those face-to-face conversations. So I think we're moving in the right direction. So it does seem that while as soon as she's taken over the team, she's not only started to change that culture, but she started to mend those fences with Calvin. So at least right now, out of his own word, like just 2 weeks ago, he was just dogging the organization like, I don't want anything to do with them. Now he's saying like, okay, we've had some positive talks. We're going in the right direction. So, credit to her for at least going out and at least, assuming extending that olive branch to go ahead and start mending the fences.
Yeah, she seems like just a completely different animal than any other Ford that's been in charge.
Yeah,
really.
It's just weird. It's like not why her, but like what from the previous owners, like the previous people in charge, did not make them want to do the right thing. She's stepping in from the front office to the coaching staff to mending relationships with former Lions and bringing them back to the organization. She's doing all of the right things an owner should do.
I mean, let's be honest, it has a lot to do with ego, right? I mean, like that's pretty much the main thing that it has to do with, and not saying that, you know, like the people before her had big egos and they had to get to that point to run the team and all that. She doesn't need that ego. All she needs to do is run a successful business, and then she will get the clout that comes with it. And I think she understands that. So as long as she treats people with respect, treats people, like, acknowledges her weaknesses instead of being too proud to say, I don't know, and then just move on. Like, I'm impressed with everything she's done up until this point.
You know what frustrates me about this, though? If Calvin Johnson just take him out of this discussion about being a Hall of Fame first ballot, would the Lions do this?
You know what?
That's a good question.
Would they? Or are they just doing this because they're pressured to?
Yeah.
The whole world knows about this now.
Oh, you know what? I'll say this. It's very well possible that the public pressure did get to her, but for as many good things as Sheila Fordham has done right with the organization since taking over, I'm going to go ahead and give her the benefit of the doubt, because since firing Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia, she's been like batting damn near 1,000.
Yeah, well, even before that, like putting that onus on them, like, listen, guys, you don't get it done, you're out of here, and then firing them even before because they were still somewhat in playoff contention when she fired them, and it didn't matter because it wasn't good playoff contention. It was just not close enough, and so she said, get the hell out of here, and I love that.
And normally you fire the coach and then you fire the GM at the end of the year, but she just went ahead and said, look, we're just about to make a clean break. We already know we don't want you guys to return. Let's just go ahead and just quit, you know, kidding ourselves and get our process started now. And credit to her for that.
Right. And another person who made the Hall of Fame first ballot, like this class could be the best Hall of Fame class of all time. Charles Woodson, obviously Michigan ties, went to University of Michigan, won the Rose Bowl. That was part of the year they were co-national championship, if you want to say that, or they won the national championship. I don't care about Peyton and the Tennessee Volunteers. But this is an awesome video, too, of Charles Woodson, because his family set him up with a fake interview so there'd be cameras there when this actually happened. And check out how, like, humbled and just how awesome these moments are. And once again, I want this job of delivering the Hall of Fame news. Go ahead, Adam.
Championship game.
A lot of great memories. You know, just winning the game. And
How you doing, Charles? Sorry to interrupt your interview, but I was trying to knock on the front door and nobody was answering. Because we're here to deliver some great news.
doing an interview.
I know.
And this what y'all, okay. So now I'm starting to think y'all was in on it.
Charles, it's my pleasure to welcome you to Canton. Congratulations.
We in the hall, man. We in the hall, man. I just unbelievable.
I could watch those videos all day. Like, I could literally watch those videos all day.
I want to jump in that pool. He got a badass pool back there.
Charles Woodson, one of the greatest of all time, and now it's undebatable. He's in the Hall of Fame. First ballot Hall of Famer. What he did at Michigan was incredible. What he did when he got to the NFL was incredible. He, Super Bowl MVP, or Super Bowl winner.
Super Bowl, yeah. Winner.
Yeah, I was thinking Desmond Howard for some reason.
Hey, both Michigan guys, both Packers.
And both Packers. That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, but no, not the MVP, but he did win a Super Bowl. And just magical moments all the way around this weekend. And part of me is so happy to watch the Super Bowl, and then part of me was so sad that football's over for 7 months.
What a weekend, though, for Michigan football. You got Tom Brady getting the W.
Right.
You got Charles Woodson getting this Hall of Fame. I mean, it was just a great weekend.
But what about Chad Henne?
Chad Henne.
I mean,
He lost.
that might have been what the Chiefs were missing. They needed Chad Henne to win.
That Chad Henne spark. That's what they could have put up more than 9 points with Chad Henne.
Dude, what if they benched him and put in Chad Henne and he took him to the got the W?
no.
All right, let's not do that.
Henne played
Let's
to be in the
operate in
hospital.
reality.
Come on, anything is possible, baby.
Yeah, Henne is on the bench, and that's where he shall remain as long as Patrick Mahomes is healthy. But it was a great weekend of football. It was fun to watch. The football season obviously wrapping up, and now we get into the offseason talks, which, I mean, the Lions got a lot of moves to make this offseason. Lots of moves.
And I hope one of them is bringing back Allen Robinson. Well, bringing home Allen Robinson. That's what I want. Like, if we're talking about moves, that needs to be number one on the list for me.
Are you just saying this, or is this like actually some talks of this?
I mean, he's a potential target they could go after.
Yeah.
And they need a wide receiver.
If they don't franchise Kenny Golladay, I mean, you got the money to go after him, but I think they're going to franchise Golladay and not go after it because I don't know if Allen Robinson wants to be a part of this right now. Like, he needs to go to a place that they're one wide receiver away from being great. He doesn't need to come here. But I would love Allen Robinson. I'll tell you that much.
What was it last year? Didn't we offer Golladay $16 million for like an extension, and he denied it?
He wants like $19 million a year.
Okay.
Yeah, he wants like.
So we just got to meet the money.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We don't have a ton of cap space. Like with us, trading away Stafford and having Goff on the roster, like that's a lot of cap eaten up right there. We don't have a ton of cap space for free agency at all right now. So the one thing we could do is franchise Golladay. But you saw with Golladay, I mean, when he doesn't want to play like this year, I thought he could have played more this year. I don't know that personally. I'm just feeling that way, that he was kind of like, I'm tapping out.
You know what? I will say this. I've never spoken to Golladay, but I wonder if he tapped out because of who the coach was.
Right.
Because he's said some positive things about Dan Campbell, said he loves his energy and a few other things, but Matt Patricia, I think the whole team checked out on Matt Patricia's, and I just really think that's what it was. I mean, Matthew Stafford, he got the hell out of Dodge. He said, "Don't trade me anywhere but New England."
Not only did they check out on Patricia here, they checked out on Patricia anywhere. I'm not going to play in New
I don't
England.
like hearing that either. Like, you're an NFL player. I don't care. Like, what is this? Oh, I'm going to take a break just because I don't like my coach? What garbage is that? You're an NFL. You're getting paid so much. You got fans all across the state of Michigan.
Treat them like men, though.
Okay, it doesn't.
You still got to.
But that's not an excuse to give.
It's not an excuse, but I'm gonna tell you right now. If I'm a grown man, if you're gonna come in there and tell me to stop, slobbing somebody's private parts, we're gonna have a problem.
You'll have a problem, but you're still gonna perform well because you're getting paid to do that. Not by the coach. You're getting paid by the organization.
Yeah, but you're getting that check either way.
Yeah. I'm gonna play a little bit harder when I know my coach respects me as a man.
And that's only gonna affect you. That's not gonna affect the coach or anyone else because it's only gonna affect the player himself.
I don't know, man, because the coach got fired. Not all the players did.
For sure, but I'm saying
the coach is easily replaceable. The players, not so much.
And I get what you're saying, Joey. Like, you should have personal accountability. You're making millions of dollars a year. You shouldn't need any motivation to get out of bed and be a great football player. But if you show up to work every day and someone's berating you, someone's talking down to you, eventually you're just going to throw your hands up in the air and put in effort, but not max effort.
Right, but no matter what, that's still the leader. Whether you respect him or you don't, that's still the leader. And if it's a regular job, you don't like your boss.
But was Matt Patricia really a leader?
It doesn't matter.
No, it does matter.
It does not matter. On paper, was he the leader or not?
On paper, he was the leader, but he was not a leader of men.
That's it.
No, it's not that black and white, though.
It is black and white.
It's different when you're dealing with millionaires. Like, it's one thing if you're dealing with, people like hourly workers and you don't like your manager. But when you're dealing with millionaires, and I've referenced this before, Chuck Daly, what he used to say, listen, I'm not a coach. I manage 12 corporations with the Pistons. You got to manage those men like they're men. Otherwise, they're going to revolt. And look what happened. I mean, we shipped out our best players because they didn't get along. And that's half on the coach. Like, anytime
It's all on the coach.
Anytime
I'm not
there's a
denying
firing,
that.
there's a failure on both sides. It's management and it's the worker. And I just, the way Matt Patricia handled himself, I wouldn't want to bust my ass for that guy.
I get it. And I'm not standing up for him. Let me preface this. I am not standing up for Patricia one bit, but I'm just saying you can't not play to the highest of your potential just because you don't like or respect your coach, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Respect is earned, not given.
It's not, but you still have to play because that's what you're paid to do.
Hey, they played. I mean, Kenny Galladay just said, "Hey, I'm
You just
not
stood here and said that you don't think he was playing because he didn't respect his coach.
Oh, he's not. It's a difference between playing. Like, I'm talking about the players. They went out there and played. Kenny Galladay is like, I'm not about to go ruin myself right now in a contract year for a coach that I don't respect.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
A lot of these guys are worried about themselves, man, as much as their team players. Like, they got to handle their business, too, because if Kenny Galladay goes out there, busts his ass for a coach he doesn't like, gets injured, he just screwed himself out of like $60 million.
Exactly.
That's a lot of money for somebody you don't care about.
It's still a business, and I'm not the one to count somebody else's pocket. So if he made a business decision to not play for a coach he don't respect to protect himself and the longevity of his career and being able to make a paycheck down the line, hey, more power to you.
Well, let's take a quick break. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Art is here after dropping off his kids. Welcome, Art.
Hey.
Thanks for hoeing out on the Super Bowl party last night. Appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem, brother.
Yeah, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back with Joey's news.
Hey, it's Joey from Woodward Sports, and I am here in downtown Fenton at Bridge Street Exchange. This place has so many amazing things for guys. And ladies, this is the hidden spot that you got to come check out. I'm talking thorough good boots. Best boots ever. They have barware. They got the Stormy Cromer hats. They got Carhartt hats, a huge Carhartt selection. They even got Snoop Dogg underwear. So go check them out, bridgestreetexchange.com, and use the code word WSN for 15% off.
Man, that first hour flew by talking Super Bowl. We're going to be talking best Super Bowl commercials coming up in a few minutes. But first, it is time for Joey's news.
And yes, the Bucs are the Super Bowl champs. Cannot believe that they whooped that Chief booty 31-9, holding them to no touchdowns, which you should have bet.
I should have bet on my bookie.
You should have bet on my bookie on that one stick. Calvin Johnson, we just talked about. Calvin Johnson and Charles Woodson are now both first ballot Hall of Famers. Congratulations to both of them. And Marvin Jones is on the clock now because he might be heading to L.A. with Matthew Stafford. And we were just talking about wide receivers and what the future is going to look like for the Lions, so we'll update you on that. And the Detroit Pistons, they have traded one of their stars, Derrick Rose, now headed to New York for Dennis Smith Jr. and a 2021 second-round pick that the Pistons got. The Pistons ended up getting a loss on Saturday, unfortunately. Double overtime against the defending champions. The Lakers beat them by 6. And the Red Wings got a W, finally, yesterday, 4-1 against the Florida Panthers. And both of our Detroit teams right now, the Pistons and the Red Wings, got a game tomorrow at 7 p.m.
Nice. So we're playing the Nets, right?
Yeah, so the Nets is going to be a fun game.
Yeah, the Nets kind of screwed me over the weekend. I picked them to win, but they lost. Man, stupid Nets.
Got them hard feelings. But I'm excited to see the Nets' talent with all the trades that they've had earlier on in this season, and the Red Wings playing the Panthers again. So hopefully we get another W against them, and another W that you could do for yourself. And Valentine's Day, I'm helping you guys out, all right? 6 more days away. So make sure you get your lady something. And ladies, if you're watching, make sure you get your guys something. You got to go check out Bridge Street Exchange in downtown Fenton. That is where I am getting all of my clothes now because they got all the cool things like thorough good boots. You got to get the warm boots to stay warm and take care of your feet right now. And then Carhartt gear. They got a cool Carhartt section in the back. So once again, Bridge Street Exchange, downtown Fenton.
Awesome. Thank you, Joey.
Thank you.
So you mentioned it a little bit in your news. There was some movement or potential movement around the NFL, not only around Super Bowl Sunday, which, by the way, like we said, we're going to be discussing all your favorite commercials coming up in just about 20 minutes. So if you got some good commercials that you liked from the Super Bowl, just drop them in the chat and we'll talk about them. But you brought it up in your news. Marvin Jones to L.A. with Matthew Stafford. Like, that's rumored to be happening. I don't understand that whatsoever.
On what end? Marvin Jones wanting to follow Stafford?
No, I understand that. They have a good connection, and you saw in that last game when they were mic'd up, let's show them what 9 and 11 can do and all that good stuff. But where the hell does Marvin Jones fit in on that offense? You got Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods out there. What are you going to do with Marvin Jones?
I think the only reason they would probably entertain bringing him over there is because, one, he's born and raised in Cali, went and played at Cal U, and he has a familiarity with Stafford. They have a rapport built from the time here in Detroit. Those are Jones' best years. So I think the only reason you would bring him in would be for Stafford has somebody that he's comfortable getting to the ball to as he, grows his relationship with Kupp and Wood if they stay there. So that's the only reason I could really kind of make sense of that move.
Yeah, and I know the Rams run more 4 wide receiver sets than almost everybody except, I believe, Arizona. Like, Arizona's always in a 4 wide receiver set. So there will be balls for him to get, but he would be the 3rd wideout on that team.
I mean, at this stage of his career, I don't think that's really a bad thing. I mean, he has not really had the best, his past couple years, he's kind of on the decline as far as the yardage and whatnot. Still service, still great, getting nine touchdowns a year. So I would have to.
I feel like when you look at Marvin Jones, it's obvious that he's made his decision that he doesn't want to come back. So the only real discussion that we got there is Galladay and if we want to franchise him.
Right. But
besides that, I mean, yeah, we do need some wide receivers for sure. But we need so many positions.
We need everything right now.
Scary.
And that's what is crazy. Did you hear about Trevor Lawrence too having surgery on his shoulder?
Yeah, he had a torn, looks like a labrum in the shoulder or something like that. And then but it's on his non-throwing shoulder.
Still,
but that's
They
injury risk.
said he should be ready before training camp. If I'm investing the #1 overall pick on somebody, am I doing that to somebody who could be ready by training camp?
That's what I'm saying, man. I don't know why everybody got him at #1 still.
You're dropping him down?
I truthfully, I mean, I respect the fact that he was a #1, but I'm just truthfully in that first draft pick, y'all.
It's going to be interesting.
It definitely changes some things because to me, this kind of came out of nowhere, too. I didn't know that he was going to be having shoulder surgery before the draft. So that's one quarterback that we're talking about. And another person that may be on the move, Carson Wentz. They have been heating up the trade talk about Carson Wentz and where he may be going. Obviously, Jalen Hurts is their future in Philadelphia. They're hitching their.
Could have had Aaron Donald and Sue.
Whew. We had Fairley and Sue.
But whatever. But yeah, I love that. I think that was really ballsy to even just straight up ask for that. I mean, you're giving up your franchise player, and they show that they desperately want him. Okay, how bad do you want him?
Right.
Give me that. Don't sell yourself short because you go for the highest. Even though they probably just wanted the deal that they got all along. Actually, they just okay. We really want this deal anyway. Let's just shoot for the moon and see what they say. If they bite, holy crap, they bite.
Well, that's how you do negotiations.
Yeah.
You ask for something that's absolutely astronomical and ridiculous. And then when they settle with 2 first-round picks, Jared Goff, and a 3rd-round pick, you're like, okay, I'll take that. Knowing damn well you just fleeced them. I mean, I'm impressed with the Lions' negotiation skills on this trade alone. And I thought because I was hoping that Stafford wasn't the first domino to fall, but it turns out that it was a good thing that he was, because normally if you're the first one to go, you don't get your true market value. You kind of set the market, and then some people overpay, some people underpay. Normally the first one in isn't the big dog.
And you know what? I think what it really helped it out was maybe those teams are, these GMs and executives talk. They must have really known that, hey, Texans are not budging on Deshaun Watson anytime soon. So let's go ahead and go make sure we get this sure thing right now while we have this. Even if those picks do not hit, for a team that is rebuilding, you have now the potential to add 4 starters potentially in the first round. And even if you don't use those picks, you can package those picks and get them in a different trade to move up in the draft or acquire more picks or whatever. You now have the pieces to do something, and that's what I think people are missing, the bigger picture. They're just only looking at, we could have had 2 first-round picks this year. Okay.
I mean, 7 and 8 would have been very nice.
That would have been
I'm
nice.
not gonna lie. Like, it would have been great to, we could have.
What direction are they really going to go in? Are they really picking these great pieces? You're not going out there and getting a Tavai or a Tease Tabor.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. When you get these assets, you got to use them in the correct way. And thanks for everybody sticking through these technical glitches with us right now. Adam is over there working diligently on everything. And I got to give a shout out to Levels. It's a new provisioning center that's opening up in Ferndale very soon, and then they're just going to take over the state, because not only do they have the best prices, they got the best product at all dispensaries around the Metro Detroit area. I love working with these guys. I know them on a personal level, and these are the type of people that you want to get everything from. Like, I'm going to go there. I'm going to get my edibles from them. I'm going to get my CBD from them, and, of course, my flower from them. And their flower, absolutely ridiculous. I've had the opportunity to try it. So once Levels opens, you guys are going to be in for a treat. No longer going to a dispensary paying $400 for some swag. That ain't happening at Levels. So make sure you follow them. Enjoy Levels on Instagram right now. Go give them a follow.
So you mentioned the flowers. So Valentine's Day coming up 6 days. I could go get some flowers from them?
Dude, those are the best flowers I think anybody would ever want.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
That right on 9 Mile? Because I believe I was driving past them and I seen them like, oh, that's the Levels. Okay.
Yep, 9 Mile and Hilton is where it's going to be. It's going to be a month or so before they open up, but we just want to get the word out there about these guys. Like, if you're disappointed with some of the dispensaries that you've been going to, Levels. And Joey, that's a great point. If men don't usually get flowers, but if you want to bring them flowers, go to Levels and get your flowers from there. That's the spot to go to.
You know what's funny? I did a wedding for my friend. I shot his wedding, and his wedding was in Colorado on 420, and the wife, she had flowers inside of her bouquet. I thought that was the dopest thing ever.
That was the greatest wedding ever, right? I got married in Jamaica, and there were plenty of flowers in Jamaica.
Oh yeah,
plenty of flowers.
We talk about Corey being such a big deal that people flying him out to shoot the wedding.
Oh, you got flown out to shoot a wedding,
Colorado?
Oh yeah, I got flown out for that.
Big deal out there, Corey.
Dog.
I love it.
Speaking of flying out, Derrick Rose on his way to New York. Probably today, right?
Yeah, something like
He gone.
I had a feeling, too. There's just been something sketchy with him sitting down for stomach pains or whatever they said the other day. It's just I knew something was coming.
Yeah, they had to keep him healthy.
Yeah, he sat out the Lakers game for personal reasons, and then they were talking about during the Phoenix Suns broadcast, mentioning that there were rumors of him getting traded. I thought Derrick Rose was going to go to a contender, but I mean, he went to the Knicks, and from one thing I would say from talking to him last year, I don't think him going to a contender, that's what everybody wants for him. Everybody wants him to go to a contender. Derrick Rose, from what I just said, I talked to him, was that he wants to go where he's valued and where he feels that people care about him. And Arn Tellem working for the Pistons, that's why he wanted to be here. That was his old agent. He felt to care about him. Now he's going back to the Knicks for his second stint. And who's the coach there? Tom Thibodeau, his coach he's pretty much been with a majority of his NBA career. So for him, he's just really happy to be on an NBA court as opposed to just saying, oh, put him here to go with a contender, kind of predict. So now that, Killian.
Yeah, I mean, can we pull that? Like,
yeah, I mean, we know he's potentially out basically for the season. Just like you said before, say the worst, and then if he heals, walk it back.
Right.
Now it's just like, okay, Killian's hurt. D Rose is supposed to finish out this season, or at least until the trade deadline. Now, all right, let's just pull the plug, send him where he wants to go. They mutually agreed to part ways. Just do right by the guy, even though he hasn't. His health has been up and down here. Just